Welcome to the podcast, Creating Value in Travel and Transportation, hosted by Landry Holy, CEO and founder of Fairval. In this podcast channel, we will exchange with entrepreneurs, industry experts, financial institutions, and investors on how they contribute to creating value in various travel verticals, thanks to new innovative tech solutions and financial services. So, if you have an interest in travel retailing, hospitality, urban mobility, maritime, aviation and space tech, then this podcast is for you.
Welcome to Creating Value in Travel and Transportation. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of aviation innovation with a special focus on Lufthansa Group, a titan in the airline industry. Established in 1953, Lufthansa has been at the forefront of aviation innovation, pioneering significant technology breakthroughs, such as the introduction in Europe of the Boeing 707 during the 60s, a monumental step in jetliner travel. Today, Lufthansa Group holds a leading market position through its network of airlines, namely Lufthansa Airlines, Swiss, Australian Airlines, Brussels Airlines, and Eurowings. Such success is not due only to its wide route coverage, but also due to its operational excellence and its commitment to innovation for its customers. Its ongoing investment in fleet modernization, digitalization, and sustainable aviation highlight that innovation remains the central to its strategy, ensuring it meets the future of travel. So today, we will dive further on the latest innovation initiative within the Lufthansa Group. And to achieve this, I have the great pleasure to welcome Katrin Schreiber, Sustainability and Innovation Consultant at Lufthansa Group. Hi, Katrin.
Thanks for having me, and greetings from the Lufthansa Group headquarters in Frankfurt that you maybe can see a little bit in the background.
And very sunny. So let's begin with a brief introduction about yourself, focusing on your journey to your current position within Lufthansa Group.
Sure. So, as you said, I'm currently a Lufthansa Group aviation consultant and also a design thinking coach. To basically give you a little insight about my journey, some milestones towards my current position, I have an MBA by education. Then after studying, I worked several years for a marketing agency as an account manager for some aviation customers. Afterwards, I worked for Miles & More, the loyalty program of the Lufthansa Group. And now I'm working since several years as an aviation consultant for the Lufthansa Group. My areas of expertise are clean technologies, the future of mobility, like also UAM and advanced air mobility, and innovation. So during the Corona crisis, when the aviation industry went into hibernation and really were suffering, I started, for example, engaging with the advanced air mobility industry. I initiate, like, for example, a virtual advanced air mobility roundtable on different topics where we, as a Lufthansa Group, exchanged with major drone and air taxi players, and also like NASA and the German Aerospace Center, on different topics like airspace management, ground ops, but also the passenger acceptance. Then from 2021 to 2023, I worked for the Lufthansa Group cleantech hub program. That was basically a program that was looking for clean technologies worldwide and to find partners. And here I was responsible for scouting clean technology solutions worldwide with the goal to reduce our CO2 emissions, but also to reduce our weight in our flight operations. Here I also initiated quarterly pitch sessions where we invited clean tech startups, but also research institutions worldwide to pitch their solutions to our relevant departments for proof of concept. And since round about 1 year, I'm initiating and facilitating different Lufthansa Group innovation challenges for our Lufthansa Group employees. So basically now my focus is more on innovation topics and enabling innovation within the Lufthansa Group. Besides my professional life, I'm also very active in different social initiatives. To name two, I'm, for example, a volunteer for our Lufthansa Group NGO called Help Alliance. Here I support a vocational school in Togo in West Africa for around about 100 men and women in the age of 18 to 25. And in addition to that, I've also been coaching university students in Africa and Ghana, for example, for the past 2 years to promote entrepreneurial thinking and social innovation. This I do together with an NGO that is called Impact Week. So yeah, just some highlights from my past years.
Very interesting, and I'm sure we'll have the opportunity during the podcast to discuss about those initiatives later on. I have myself with some roots from Ivory Coast as well, French and Ivory Coast, so I'm definitely interested to hear a bit more about that. But let's come back to first Lufthansa Group, and I'd like to ask you a question around actually what are the key challenges and opportunities that currently Lufthansa Group anticipates in the future, and particularly that will generate value for its key stakeholders, including, of course, the traveler.
Yeah, good point. So I think everybody is aware that sustainability is a huge challenge. And the goal of the aviation industry, not only Lufthansa Group, for I think every player, is to become carbon or to reduce the carbon emissions. Let me give you some insights what the Lufthansa Group is doing. So we want to become carbon neutral by 2050, and we want to reduce our carbon emissions in half by 2030 compared to 2019. And we continuously implementing a wide range of innovative measures. And our main levers to become carbon neutral are basically 5 pillars. I can give you like an overview. So the first important pillar is modern fleet. So the Lufthansa Group will put around about 200 brand new and more sustainable aircraft into service by 2030. These aircraft reduce the fuel consumption and therefore also the CO2 emissions by 30% compared to their predecessors. So on every flight, then with every single new aircraft, we save 30% CO2 emission. That's a huge lever. That was the first pillar. Then the second pillar is to become carbon neutral is sustainable aviation fuel, the so-called SAF. Here we support like various SAF production processes. For example, based on biogenic origins like cooking oil, for example, use cooking oil as one source of SAF that we support. Or we also support SAF based on renewable energy like wind or sun. The good thing about SAF is that the quality and performance is similar compared to the fossil fuel that we have nowadays. So it can be used with existing aircraft and also with the existing infrastructure. But the huge challenge is that SAF is only available in small quantities. So currently only SAF is available like around about 1% of the world's aviation fuel demand. Therefore, we need more investments to scale up these promising technologies. So that was the second pillar towards our way to become carbon neutral. The third pillar is retrofitting. So this pillar is focusing on the current aircrafts because a normal aircraft will be in service like 25 years or sometimes more. Therefore, we also have to find solutions for the current fleet. And in the retrofit pillar, we try to find lighter, but also more aerodynamic materials for existing aircrafts to also reduce fuel consumptions and CO2 consumption. The fourth pillar on our journey is like digital solution, meaning we are building softwares that offer smart solutions for our cockpits so that they can fly more climate friendly, but also for our route and aircraft planning experts that they can plan also routes that are more environmentally friendly. The last pillar on our journey is waste and circular economy. That's also super important for us, meaning we try to reduce single-use plastic and try to reduce food waste on board. So these are as I said, our 5 main pillars towards our sustainability journey.
Right. So just to come back on some of those clean tech projects that you call them, I was kind of curious to learn a bit more about the aerodynamic initiatives that you're doing today in Lufthansa. If you could maybe highlight maybe some of the key aspects or,
Sure. So on the aerodynamic topic, we have like a really cool lighthouse project. So since years, the Lufthansa Technik is partnering with BASF. And they basically developed a bionic film with small riblets. And the cool thing is about this film is they replicate the skin of a shark. So basically they covered the skin of the shark, because also the shark swims very aerodynamic through the water, and they try to copy it. And they call this film Aero Shark, a shark that flies or swims through the air. Yeah. And this film or foil will be put on the surface of an existing aircraft, and it's transparent. So it's really hard to see the film. But the good thing is if you put it on the aircraft, then you can optimize the airflow around the aircraft. And therefore, we can save fuel and emissions round about 1% on every flight. And this in total is quite an impact for us. And to give you also like some insights, it was really challenging to get this certified and also like perfectionized, because now the foil is extremely resilient. It can be used like in hot areas, like where we land, like in deserts, but it also can resist very cold temperatures that we have in the air. So therefore, we are really happy that this foil then finally got certified 2 years ago, so in 2022, for commercial airplanes. And by now, we have like 11 Boeing 777 for our daughter Swiss equipped with this AeroShark film, and 4 Boeing 777 freighters for our Lufthansa cargo fleet. And now the next steps will be that we further equip other Lufthansa Group aircrafts and other Lufthansa Group airlines with this film, step by step. And then finally, we would also make it available for external airlines.
Right, very interesting. You talked about SAF, aviation fuel, sustainable aviation fuel. What are you doing around hydrogen aspect, for example?
I can start with the hydrogen topic, and then we can also dive deeper into the SAF topic. I also brought an example with me to make that more tangible. Yeah, hydrogen, a very interesting topic. Here the Lufthansa Technik partnered up with some Hamburg aviation players, for example, the City of Hamburg, the German Aerospace Center, DLR, and the Center of Applied Aeronautical Research and Hamburg Airport. They last year got an old Airbus 320. They brought it, they flew it back to the Hamburg base of Lufthansa Technik. And this old aircraft, instead of putting it into sleep and bringing it to the cemetery, they will now basically convert this old aircraft into a stationary lab to test hydrogen for the future. So they test like the effects of liquid hydrogen on maintenance and ground processes and specific. They test how it works, how the engineers and the Lufthansa Technik people can operate and maneuver with this liquid hydrogen, and this is really exciting. So currently the aircraft is in the mode to get transferred into a lab, and then I think later this year we can already unveil some of the learnings and key takeaways that we gathered so far.
Wow, exciting. And so you wanted to dive into more the safe aspect with more examples?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So I think to decarbonize the aviation industry, as I said, SAF is a super important lever to achieve this goal. In my opinion, we need to join forces, like also industry-wide, also different aviation players need to join forces, but also the governments needs to create like even more incentives for these green technology investments, in my opinion, to scale them faster up. So, because my honest belief is that the aviation industry will remain an important transportation mode to connect people and economies, and therefore clean technologies are the major lever to reach our decarbonization goal. So therefore, SAF is super important. And here I can share one SAF lighthouse projects of the Lufthansa Group. So in 2022, the Lufthansa Group entered a strategic partnership with a startup company called Senelion. Senelion is from Switzerland. And this strategic partnership is about that the Lufthansa Group is becoming then the first commercial airline that flies with solar fuel. That's a specific type of SAF, solar fuel. And what Senelion did, they developed a unique technology to produce this special SAF from solar energy, water, and CO2. So how this works, imagine you have like a huge mirror field with like 100 mirrors placed on a huge field, and then you have a tower in front of it, and all those mirror waves and radiations will be faced towards the tower and collected in this tower. So you just need a sunny location like Spain or Africa or where else you have like a lot of sun available. And then you put all these mirrors in this tower. And then this concentrated heat that you receive from the mirrors, this will be put to this reactor in the tower. And in the tower, it gets converted. So the high temperature heat, and then together with water and a carbon source. So the carbon source could be CO2 that you capture from the atmosphere. And this together will be transferred into a synthetic gas. And this synthetic gas then finally gets transferred into synthetic fuel. And this is then the so-called solar fuel. This is CO2 neutral in the end, because you take the CO2 from the atmosphere, and therefore the process is in total CO2 neutral. And this technology has already been successfully tested in Germany together with the DLR, so the German Aerospace Center. And currently, Senelion is building their first industrial scale demonstration plant. So they proved the technology, and now it's about scaling the technology up. So this industrial scale demo plant is also in Germany. And then their next step would be to build the first real commercial plant in Spain in 2025 and 2026. Their Senelion's milestone is then to produce already 40 million tons of solar fuel in 20 years. And this basically corresponds with 50% of European jet fuel demand. So like in 20 years, we could already cover half of European jet fuel demand with only this technology from Senelion, which is, I think, very promising. And Lufthansa Group is, as part of this partnership with Senelion, supporting them in the development and also scaling up their technology. Yeah, that was one of our SAF highlight projects.
That's incredible. And what I really like about this initiative is that you're actually working with a startup. So you're really, it's like a bit in the US, a small business act, which I think we tend to lack of doing, I think, in Europe in general. So I think that's a great example.
Yeah.
I'd like to come. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and they were a carve out from the ETH Zurich University. So they came from the uni, the startup Senelion, and they were carved out, and now they are becoming so promising and so successfully. It's really a great success story of Senelion.
Well, that's great. And personally, I didn't know about that technology and to that depth and that concrete application with an airline, which is really great. Coming back to your pillars, because you seem to have a lot of exciting in-depth examples. I'd like to jump back on the flight route optimization, because this one is like, I know in my past experience, we were pioneering, some solutions on, helping the pilots on the routing, which was quite challenging using AI behind. What has been achieved, in Lufthansa in this area?
Yeah. Also super important topic. Here, maybe I can give you some insights into our corporation, Lufthansa Group Corporation, that we have with Google Clouds. We joined forces with them in 2019 already on a project that is called Operations Decision Support Suite. So in short, it's called OPSD. And OPSD uses AI to evaluate a huge amount of data in real time. That's very challenging because the Lufthansa Group has such an amount of data, and I think we only use like a small percentage out of this. And this technology now with OPSD enables us to analyze even more data and in a very quick time. Therefore, our planning, route planning, and also aircraft and crew planning experts can now consider more data and even additional data, like for example the current engine condition. And based on this amount of data, they can select the most efficient aircraft for a particular route. So within OPSD, for example, we have this so-called tail sign optimization feature. And this, for example, reduces the CO2 emission just for our Swiss airline by approximately 8,000 tons CO2 by year. And this, to give you like a more tangible example, this corresponds to around 16 return flights between Munich and New York with an Airbus 350. This can be saved by this new tail sign optimization feature.
Wow.
On every flight. Yeah.
That's very impressive. Oh. And so just on one of the other pillar you mentioned about optimizing waste and so on. Do you have some examples?
Yeah. Here we could deep dive into 3 topics. One is finding material alternatives to reduce single-use plastic, for example, for our meals in the economy class on board. Here we partner, for example, with another startup that is called Traceless. Traceless is a German startup near Hamburg, and they developed biodegradable plastic alternatives. So this material is from agriculture waste products, so for example from brewery waste. And the good thing is it has the advantages of plastic, but it's not made out of plastic. Therefore we can use this material to produce packaging with a big advantage that it can be composed under natural composting conditions. So it depends a little bit on the thickness of the material, but like after 2 to 9 weeks, it's completely gone in the compost if you put it into the compost. And we are currently working on this material to replace our Lufthansa economy meal lids. So if you currently we cover our economy meals with a plastic lid, and our goal is to replace this with the traceless material, or our cutlery package on board at Lufthansa. We also want to replace this. And then our ambition would to make it also tangible for the customer, and also tell the story for the customer that we write on this cutlery package, then I'm made out of brewery waste, put me back into your garden, into your compost, and then I will be completely gone after like latest 9 weeks, to also tell the story a little bit to the customer on what products we are working on, because it's hard to see the different material, but with this kind of story, we would try to make it also tangible for the Lufthansa Group, for the Lufthansa Group passengers, to tell them on which projects we are working on.
Yeah, that's a big idea.
This was one example of the waste and circular economy pillar, and another example is also combined with AI. So here we try to reduce the food waste on board with the support of AI. So basically tracking how many meals were consumed on the last flight from, I don't know, Frankfurt to Accra. There's no flight from Frankfurt to Accra, but from Brussels to Accra, how many meals were consumed, what like components were left, so then we can try then to avoid these food waste then for the next flights. That is another initiative that we are currently driving.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, it's I know that I've seen some initiative of that sort in hospitality, because there's a lot of waste food in there, and I don't even mention the all-inclusive tour operators that we are quite still famous in Germany for outbound trips. So, but definitely a lot of room for improvement. There's one thing we haven't. So too. Yeah, there's one thing we haven't mentioned so far, which is a kind of a hype, is everything around generative AI. Could you just share a couple of initiatives, if you have some, in Lufthansa Group around that technology, basically?
Sure. So as you said, Gen AI's latest hype since like around about 1 year, and also the Lufthansa Group is working on several Gen AI initiatives. Like for example, we had last year a Gen AI Lufthansa Group-wide challenge where we asked our employees, please hand in ideas how Gen AI can support our services and products. And here we received like within 4 weeks, 75 ideas that we basically then screened with the support of a jury, and 5 out of them that we found very promising. We invited them to a 2-day hackathon where they then basically developed a prototype within 2 days. And to give you 2 examples out of these 5, one was an employee-related use case where the ChatGPT bot supports our cargo service colleagues in like processing complex booking information by quickly finding the right information in like hundreds of manuals. So the aviation industry is very complex. As you know, we have like different regulations and security issues. Therefore, it's sometimes quite challenging to process complex bookings. And GenAI offers here like a support for our employees to get more efficient and also assist them with like repetitive tasks and provides them suggestions, summarize data. Basically that the agents then can focus more on like the personal interaction, for example, with the customer or the client, or could also like focus on innovation topics instead of screening hundreds of manuals. I think that is a very promising way forward. Then in addition to that, I can also share 2 passenger-related ChatGPT or generative AI examples. One is the ChatGPT-powered personalized packing list generator, how we call it. Here, our colleagues from the Lufthansa Group Digital Hangar work on this. And this is basically to simplify the packing experience for passengers. So here the ChatGPT bot suggests already like what you should pack into your suitcase according to your booking. So if you fly like to Iceland next month with your family, like 2 adults, 2 kids in the age from 7 to 10, then the bot considers this information. It's the season like May, you travel to Iceland, he already knows like the weather during this time at this place and also the people that are traveling with. And then he would come up with a suggestion how you should pack your suitcase and what how many travel boots, whatever, that you need an umbrella, whatever. That's a nice project in my opinion. And then another passenger-related project is like a Gen AI concierge service along the travel journey. So imagine you fly or you want to fly tomorrow from Frankfurt to Singapore, and you first take an Uber to get to the airport in Frankfurt, then you take the plane from Frankfurt to Singapore, then you have another Uber that brings you to the hotel. And imagine one of your transportation modes is delayed. And then the goal would be that the Gen AI tool automatically informs the other providers that you are delayed by 1 hour. So let's say the plane is delayed, then the tool would inform the Uber driver waiting in Singapore that you arrive 1 hour later, and also the hotel. That's, I think, quite convenient, and you do not need to inform everybody on your own. This will be done by the tool. So I think there are a lot of very promising use cases out there about generative AI, but I think also legally binding passenger communication is still very challenging. So I think we as a Lufthansa Group are a little bit cautious on this topic, because currently you can't trust legally binding ChatGPT outputs, because sometimes the tool starts hallucinating. So basically they come up with wrong information because they may be considered an old source in the internet, or they came up with something on their own. Therefore, I think this is currently still challenging. But if you use it like for suggestions, as we had with our packing list generator, or for support of your employees, I think that's a very nice way forward. And I could imagine that also in the future, the skill set also of people will be different because, as we said, Gen AI will support with repetitive tasks and simplifies the way we work and makes it more efficient. And therefore, I think our human skills can be used for other tasks to create even more benefit in the innovation, or as I said, in the service aspects.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting what you say. Two, three comments around all those examples. The first comment, what you just mentioned, is there's a lot of also fear of is generative AI going to take over some of the job. But if you kind of dig a bit more how that works, you realize that it's you're changing the way you're interacting with the machine. Today it was usually an interface that was designed and so on. Now we have actually to be creative on how to use the tool, how to write the right prompts, basically. So that's kind of interesting. The other thing you mentioned about being cautious, it's true that when you raise the point that you're using a really small part of the data from Lufthansa Group, I think that's also one of the keys, really to educate the generative AI with your own data, so that you avoid having a bit weird stuff. Really teach him. And last point, which I think was really insightful, was around the cargo, the Lufthansa, help.
The ChatGPT boards for our service agents.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because I observe exactly the same challenge in the shipping industry. In the shipping industry, you have so many documents to gather, and you end up doing a really tedious work and not, focusing around maybe more important customer relation aspect, for example. So this is definitely something, once it's really well tweaked and you can trust the outcome, then I think it's a huge step ahead in the way we work today and creating more value, basically. Thank you for those really interesting examples, and which actually, through those examples, I was curious to then understand a bit more how Lufthansa Group, what's the strategy is used to foster innovation and new ideas within the group as a whole. How do you scale that?
So basically, Lufthansa Group is a huge company. We have over 100,000 employees, and innovation is actually happening all over the Lufthansa Group. We have in every business unit, so in every daughter, we also have dedicated innovation departments. In addition to that, we also have a central umbrella, a central function that provides the Lufthansa Group innovation strategy. At this umbrella, the innovation umbrella for the Lufthansa Group is called the Lufthansa Group Innovation Runway. And that's where I'm currently working since over 1 year. And this innovation runway enables basically our over 100,000 employees to innovate. So this means we, for example, support our colleagues when they have a promising idea in the area of customer experience, in the area of operations, but also on topics like sustainability and future of flying. Then we provide them with expertise. We help them to innovate with different workshop formats, and we also equip them with data and AI expertise and provide funding. So within the Lufthansa Group Innovation Runway, we have like 4 main pillars, how we support our employees. I can give you a quick insight if you want.
Yeah,
So
please.
one is the Lufthansa Group Open Lab Network. So since last year, the Lufthansa Group Open Lab Network has been bundling different innovation skills that we have in the Lufthansa Group. For example, skills on AI, on XR, so extended reality, metaverse, hydrogen, then a lot of digital skills like Internet of Things. Then we have like an aircraft mock-up. We have a cabin and gate lab. We have 3D printing labs. So we have a lot of innovation capabilities around the Lufthansa Group, and last year we bundled them. So in total, we have currently 15 internal innovation labs in the Lufthansa Group, and these are basically located in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And these 15 labs, so the basically function like a matchmaking platform. So when an employee has an idea on a certain topic, then he would get in contact with the Lufthansa Group Open Lab Network, and we see what is needed, what can we provide, and then we connect him with an expert or a needed technology to basically test, validate his idea. And then we would set up like a quick business experiment to validate his or her idea within 6 weeks. That is the Open Lab Network, about testing ideas in an early stage from our employees. The second module that we offer in the Innovation Runway is the so-called Create Our Future tool. This is basically a crowdfunding idea platform for our colleagues. Here we initiate like regular innovation challenges on different topics. Last year, for example, we had a Fraport airport challenge. Then I told you last year we also had the ChatGPT challenge. This year we are currently still in the final of a passenger experience challenge. And next month we will initiate a social innovation challenge. And here we basically pick a topic that is important. Either we as a Lufthansa Group Innovation Runway department or somebody else will contact us and says, look, I have this and this challenge. Could you please help me with running these challenges and gather ideas from our colleagues? And then, as I said, then employees hand in ideas on this certain topics. We help them to flesh out the idea. And then in the end, it depends on how many ideas where we hand it in. Then colleagues can vote with virtual money on the idea if they like it or not. And then in the end, finally, a jury selects the most promising ideas that will be then fleshed out and in the end also receives funding to develop a prototype. So that was the second module, the Create Our Future idea platform for challenges. The third module is the Lufthansa Group Innovation Fund. That is to provide our colleagues with funding to build their prototypes. Either together with one of the modules that I mentioned earlier, so either together with the Open Lab, if they want to test an idea with the lab, then they can receive funding, or if they want to develop an idea out of the Create Our Future challenge, but they also can do it independently. If they just have an idea out of their routine work, they can also approach the Lufthansa Group Innovation Growth Fund and say, look, this is my daily job. Out of this, I have the idea to do this and this to simplify or optimize this and this topic. Please give me X amount of euros to build my prototype. And this Innovation Growth Fund is like a monthly pitch that we offer, where people or colleagues pitch their solutions within like 10 minutes. And then in the end, the jury, the C-level jury, of Lufthansa Group will decide, yes, you convinced us, your idea sounds promising, we give you the money to develop your prototype. So that's the third module. And the last module that we offer from the Lufthansa Group Innovation Runway is that we build Lufthansa Group-wide an innovation community. And we also facilitate different events to also create an exchange between internal and also external innovators, like on hot topics, like ChatGPT, for example. We have a monthly ChatGPT event series where we update each other on new features, on new use cases, on data topics. And we also have a monthly Lufthansa Group Innovation Lunch where we invite internal but also external speakers to talk on a certain topic like robotics or drones, to keep us updated and also keep us open-minded what is happening and what could be maybe also benefit our daily business. And then we also have within this community part an innovation award where once a year we celebrate the most innovative Lufthansa Group projects. So normally end of the year, every November, we bring them on stage and celebrate the successes of our innovation year.
That's really interesting because I think what it's doing on top of generating a great innovation, you're actually making sure that the culture at scale is really sustaining this innovation DNA, which is a challenge because if you want to be the airline of the future, it's not just a small group of people sitting in a lab who are going to make that happen. And that's a big mistake I've seen in the past with many companies trying to invest in innovation programs, but not scaling it to the group, so you don't have that scale at the end of the day. And it's really important to count that. And it's great that such a large airline is taking this in account.
Yeah, but I also have to admit that it's still challenging. We try, as I said, our best to enable everybody in this big company, but in the end, it's also challenging for us to implement afterwards this cool ideas and finding resources, so people that have still spare capacity to implement these cool ideas, because normally they have like a full-time daily job, and then currently the setup would be that they do X% of an innovation topic on top of their daily job, and this is still challenging, but we try to find solutions to improve also this topic, to get them faster into implementation than these cool topics, innovation topics.
I'd like to know what is the top technology on the radar of Lufthansa Group, and particularly the one where you see a long-term impact, especially in the field of sustainability. So what are the top things that you're like, this is maybe not yet there, but this is something we have to get our hands on to now?
Mm-hmm. So I think top technologies on Lufthansa Group radar are AI. We also already covered this a bit in our podcast. Then in specific generative AI, we also covered this already. Besides these two, I can further elaborate on the future of flying, like advanced air mobility. Can give you some insights. Then we could also look into the future of intermodality, like Hyperloop and technologies like related to this. And in addition to that, also extended reality, like the metaverse, is very promising. So these are, I would say, the main top technologies that we have on our radar.
Okay.
And if you want, we can...
Yes, please.
Deep
You're
dive.
getting me excited. I was not going to say, oh no, Yeah, let's get to another question. All the exciting stuff.
Okay, sure. Let's do it. Okay, maybe let's start with the advanced air mobility or urban air mobility topic. So this is Lufthansa Group is observing it since quite a time now, and we observe that it's also still challenging to get these promising, fancy technology like commercially viable and ready for the market. So I think from today's perspective, the greatest challenges are still that the development and certification for new aircraft like the eVTOLs require a lot of capital and more time, I think, than all the advanced air mobility players forecasted, because a lot of these players are not from the aviation industry, and I think it's hard in the beginning to imagine how complex this industry is. I think therefore they realize now the challenges, and therefore I think it takes more time to get it on the market, because as I said, the regulation is one big topic, because it has to be safe in order to get it certificate, and this takes normally years, as we all know. Then the battery is still a huge challenge, meaning the duration of the battery, the weight of the battery. The battery needs to be heat tolerant, and it also in the end needs to charge faster to enable like quick rotations of these eVTOLs. But the good thing is currently different teams around the world work on rethinking this traditional lithium-ion batteries to solve this challenge. Therefore, I'm still optimistic that this battery challenge will be solved.
Which is hydrogen. Hydrogen is being considered.
For example.
Yeah.
For example, exactly. Then another challenge that is still that still needs to be solved is the payload of these aircraft, the range, and then also in the end the access to the airport to make it then also like attractive for commercial aviation, to basically then enable a last mile delivery, so that the commercial plane comes to an airport and then the eVTOL or the drone picks the delivery and brings it to the whatever facility or the end customer in the end. So this is also not solved yet, but also here I'm promising that by time these topics will also evolve. And then in the end, also the route planning with the airspace availability is a challenge, and also certain weather conditions will also play an important factor. So in total, I think the JET's future has not yet come true for this industry, but on the other side, various proofs of concept have been successfully implemented already. Like, for example, in the cargo drone industry, where they prove that they can fly like drone deliveries up to 8 kilograms in a range of 80 kilometers. So the first small steps were successfully proved, and now it's time to make even more progress to further enhance this technology. And I can also say that Lufthansa Group sees this market as interesting, because in the end, with the advanced air mobility industry, we can offer then an end-to-end solution for our customers. Basically similar to drones, we can bring the customer to the airport, and then the eVTOL or whoever takes over the customer and brings them either to an area surrounded by the airport, and deliver them basically close to their home, flies them close to the home. And this can, in the end, then also contribute to a better utilization of our long-haul aircrafts, and finally also could potentially increase then our overall revenue. So not only from Lufthansa Group perspectives, but also from customer perspective, I think the advanced air mobility industry is very promising, because also for the customer, it creates a greater convenience in the end and a more seamless and greener travel experience. I could also imagine that at some point offering like extremely short flights with kerosene aircrafts will no longer be justifiable. And I'm pretty sure that these then will be taken over by the eVTOL providers. And to give you like 2 Lufthansa Group examples how we engage with this industry. So like during the Corona time, our Lufthansa Group subsidiary Lufthansa Industry Solutions, they are developing different IT solutions. They are, for example, partnered with Volocopter to develop their Volo IQ. That's basically the digital platform of Volocopter, of the air taxi ecosystem. So this happened during Corona. And one recent partnership that I can share is that we, end of last year, December last year, the Lufthansa Group signed a strategic MOU, so a memorandum of understanding with Lilium. And this is on the topic of eVTOL aircraft operation in Europe. And here, basically, the Lufthansa Group and Lilium discussing topics like flight ops, ground ops, how to handle maintenance, crew and flight training, but also infrastructure and airspace integration. So, keeping fingers crossed, but it's very interesting, and as I said, I can imagine that it plays a huge role in the future, this topic. So this was in regards to advanced air mobility. Besides this, I think intermodality in general plays a huge role for the future of traveling. So eVTOL is just one example how we could travel in the future. There are a couple more possibilities. And intermodal transportation basically says that passengers and goods can be transported quickly and efficiently through a variety of modes. It could be via sea, via air, via rail, via road. So basically it's about combining different transportation modes to make it more seamless for the customer, and in the end more environmental friendly for the people that travel. And Hyperloop is one big trend since years. And it's basically a high-speed transportation system where airless and frictionless tube capsules travel at the speed of sound through like a pipeline. And here the Technical University of Munich, for example, opened the first European test track last year in Netherlands, with a goal to bring high-speed transportation mean to market maturity. And I think once the infrastructure is available, and then also a certain amount of data needs to be shared among transportation providers, but then I think this will be also very promising transportation mode in the future. I could imagine that this also replaces like some transportation. So for example, from Berlin to Munich or from Berlin to Rome. I could imagine that this in the future could be handled and with a Hyperloop instead of a plane, because the Hyperloop train from Berlin to Rome, according to experts, would take around about 1 hour travel time. And this sounds very fascinating and very promising. But still, as I said, and it depends currently is still a lot on the investments to build this infrastructure. And I think if countries join forces, I could imagine that, then for domestic air traffic, that this will be replaced then in the end by these Hyperloop trains, because they are cheaper than in the end and also more environmentally friendly. This was a quick insight into the intermodality. And then if you want, and we still have some time, I could give you some quick insights into the extended reality or metaverse topic. So extended reality, here we have quite some use cases within the Lufthansa Group, currently focusing on maintenance topic at Lufthansa Technik, but we also do already cockpit and crew trainings with extended reality with our Lufthansa Aviation training daughter. And we also have use cases passenger related. For example, we invite customers to experience our new intercontinental cabin, the Allegris, to basically experience with the goggles, VR glasses. These are current use cases that we have, but in the future, I also see several use cases for in-flight and entertainment, for example, but also for enriching the booking process with immersive inspiration about travel destinations. So imagine you look for your next vacation and you see in the VR glasses different, like Bali, for example, how nice this is if you experience this destination with VR technologies. I think that is very enriching. And some tech fans already tested some VR glasses with the in-flight experience. So they took their glasses with them on a long-haul flight and used the entire cabin as their screen. So the technology is working, and in my opinion, it will then finally rely on factors of consumer adoption. So depending on the cost and the ease of use of these VR goggles, customer will adopt or not. And it also depends on the user trust to share data, for example, for a more personalized experience, and the availability of funding this technology, but also cybersecurity issues that may occur with this technology. So therefore, that was, as a last example, also very promising technology in our opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I fully agree. And one other thing I was noting when you were talking about some of the examples on the new types of transportation or the multimodal, looking at the eVTOL, I think what is interesting with the transformation or the evolution you're operating in Lufthansa is that at the end of the day, an airline is obsessed about safety, security, and you have that knowledge. And when you see all those new players, that's the thing they have to learn. So you have definitely an advantage, and the fact to embrace the technology today upfront to understand the usage is key. And the other thing which you mentioned, which I think was really interesting, around the multimodality. I think the challenge with it is the convenience that you can embrace, how agile it can be. And one of the things I've observed in the transportation of goods is when you talk about train, rail, multimodality, the issue when you talk to people in this industry, they say, look, we still use the road because it's not yet enough agile for us to use that modality. So I think this is important that the usage and the agility of the usage, like your Uber's, the just in time, has to be taken into account. Otherwise, you'll face adoption issues for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for those really insightful examples. I wanted to come back because we're reaching nearly the end of the podcast. Coming back to current innovation initiatives, and I know we discussed about some of them, but the ones which are actually now delivering value to your stakeholders and the travelers, always in the center. If you could either it's a recap or add some other examples, because it's quite important that we've heard so many things happening with Lufthansa, and I have to say I'm so astonished to see how rich those examples are. How it would be good to kind of close all around this initiative of okay, but concretely this is what's happening here.
Sure. You can also I think I can add some very concrete examples, as you said, that currently provide benefit. One is the assessment of hand luggage by using computer vision. And this is basically to optimize our boarding process. So what we did here, we tested last year within 7 weeks different computer vision technologies in our lab, in our open innovation lab. And the goal was to find a computer vision technology that counts the number of hand luggage that we take with us when we board the aircraft. And that the technology not only counts it, but also counts it reliable and can also assess the type of hand luggage that we take with us. Is it a backpack? Is it a trolley? Is it a suitcase? So, and this is then in the end to reduce delays by taking off, because some delays are caused because the baggage needs to be reloaded from the onboard baggage compartment to the cargo compartment if they do not fit anymore in our cabin. So therefore, this technology is now implemented on 2 airports in Germany. And this, you can imagine, it's basically a camera that is put on the seal when you board the aircraft. And this screens your baggage and counts the number of, as I said, backpacks, suitcases. And then at a certain time, it would create like a notification to our gate staff and would say, like a little alert. We can't now take any further hand luggage because the cabin is full. From now on, please load the other hand luggage in the cargo compartment. As I said, to optimize the boarding process and do not cause delays caused by this topic. Then another very tangible innovation idea that is already in place is the pre-seat robot. So this was developed by our Swiss colleagues last year. So they came up with a pre-seating robot that assigns economy passengers that have a short connection time a seat at the front of the cabin so that they can leave the aircraft faster and have then more time to get their connecting flights. Yeah.
Very concrete, because I've been in this situation, not with Lufthansa, but with another airline where I always, I'm always angry because I always have to run to get my connection. It's like if I had was not in the good conditions, I wouldn't be able to run. I would just have a heart attack.
Exactly. And sometimes if you are too late to select your seat, then it could happen that you sit at the end of the aircraft, and as you said, then every second counts to connect to get your connection flight, and then this would help already to get a seat in front of the aircraft. Then a third very tangible innovation project is the LEOS ETAC. So here in 2022. our daughter Leos ordered a first fully electrical tug. So these are the tug that tow the aircraft. For example, they move the aircraft to certain parking areas or to the maintenance hangars, but also to departure positions. And these now fully electrical tugs have no emissions, are very silent. They don't create any noise and also have no vibration. Therefore, it's good for the environment, but also for our staff that drives the tug.
Yeah.
And they have been testing and training on these new vehicles quite some time. And now in the end, we managed to have by next month 6 fully electrical tugs and 2 hybrid tugs at the Frankfurt airports. So this is also a nice sustainability success story for our ground operations. And to make it more tangible, the performance of such a electrical tug. So one towing tug can manage up to 20 towing jobs per day. And then if they are empty, they go back to their charging facility. And as we have a couple of them, we manage it quite good, so that if they are needed, are recharged again and can tow the next aircraft. And the last tangible example I can give you on a different topic. This is on the entertainment, in-flight entertainment area. Here, our daughter AirQ, this is our digital cabin daughter, together with our Discover airline, installed a novel, fully fledged new in-flight entertainment system. This is called Arena, and this provides agility and speed and content updates. And it's also possible that the customer can customize his onboard product. This enables also new ancillary revenue streams for us, but also gamification possibilities for the customer, or the customer can also book, for example, a tour via this in-flight entertainment system for their destination. So we are also very proud on this progress on the in-flight entertainment section.
I hope I have the opportunity to test it soon. It's quite interesting.
So it will fly already this summer.
Okay.
At Discover Airlines.
Okay, great. So I think we're reaching the end of the podcast, but I had just one last question, because you mentioned about your involvement, social involvement with initiative in Africa, and I wanted just to close on a question around that topic. We view that we are in the Western Europe. We are having an aging population, and we can see clearly, and I've been personally in Ivory Coast a couple of weeks ago, that there's going to be, the population in Africa or in Asia, Latin America is much younger. So we see a shift in the future of, where there's going to be a lot of trade in those through those markets. And there's going to be new ways, because it's other culture, new ways of working. And so it's going to, change a bit the future, how we see that. And again, you have to go there to realize, it's not just Asia, just go in Africa, you'll be shocked, how young and, how people are so sharp. What are the influence that we can see the aviation industry has on this towards this shift? How do you see that, especially coming from Lufthansa Group?
Yeah. I completely share your observations, and I became also a huge fan of Africa, for example, due to my social engagement, and I share your observations and also like the geopolitical shift, like a lot of young, very motivated people coming from Asia, Africa, and then South America. And considering the impact for the aviation industry, for example, if I take this into consideration to my Africa experience, I can see advantages in Africa, for example, because the African market opens up new potential for the aviation industry. For example, because the airspace is less regulated in Africa, therefore it's easier for the aviation industry to quickly run like proof of concept on certain topics. Here we could, for example, take the drone industry as an example, like zipline and ringcopter from the US and Germany. They deliver medical goods with drones to several African countries and providing vaccination, blood, but also drug and lab samples to rural areas with poor road infrastructure. And I also had the opportunity to visit one of Zipline's distribution center in Ghana last year, and I was really amazed to see this live. And that they're not really only testing it like in a test bed, but really providing value for hundreds of people already since a couple of years. So therefore, I think this is a very interesting market, and countries already companies already proved that it's also commercially viable. And I think to consider it even in the midterm, like this drone industry, as I said earlier, I think if then in the end drone can also fly longer ranges with more payload and can also land closer to an airport, I could also imagine that drone use cases for the aviation industry will also become commercially interesting for delivering like urgent needed products over the last mile, not only medical products, but also like if spare parts are missing, that quickly a drone can fly this from A to B. Besides this drone advanced air mobility topic, I also see relevance in like markets like Africa, for example, because Africa has huge amount of natural resources, like for example, sun. The sun is shining almost the whole year. And according to experts, they say like a desert landscape in Africa, for example, in Sahara, in the size of the federal state of Lower Saxony in Germany. That's basically one part in the northern Germany. So this area in a sunny place in Africa, for example, the Sahara, would be enough to cover the global commercial jet fuel demand with solar fuel. So similar to the Synelion technology that we had earlier, such a small area could cover in the future the global jet fuel demand with solar fuel. I think that's super promising to finally solve then the sustainability challenge that we have in the aviation industry. These two, to name two possibilities that I see in the future, and why I think these markets are super relevant also for the aviation industry.
Yeah, and just a small parenthesis, I was one startup I was working with. They were doing reservation API solution in Nigeria, and each time I had a call with them, every so on, they were saying, "Oh, there's a new airline which just been founded," There was, we started the discussion. There was maybe 7 airlines, and we ended up the discussion. There was 11 airlines in a couple of, less than a year.
They are so quick, yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
Booming.
Yeah.
And the way, and because the road infrastructure is not good and not safe as well, if you're transporting goods, so people prefer to take a flight to go trading in some of the trading places. So it's really interesting to see how things are adopted. And I mean, just look also the Amazon Way, Juna, all those companies, they've done it with the African mindset. It's interesting and comes back to the point of also the way we work, we think. We have to get inspired from those new market, because they had to learn ways, to counter what they were missing. So that's quite interesting. Anyway, It was fascinating discussion, Katrin. I mean, I'm amazed by everything that is being achieved in Lufthansa. I knew Lufthansa, of course, for my past career, but I did not imagine at that time that there was so many things happening in this group. So really impressed and congratulations to all the people who are like yourself contributing to building up the future of the Lufthansa Group. So I'd like to only thank you for your participation, and I'm sure we'll keep in touch for any topics in the future around innovation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone who has participated to this podcast, and see you to the next one. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Greetings over to France.
Greetings to Frankfurt. Yes.
Thank you for watching or listening to the podcast, Creating Value in Travel and Transportation, from Fairval. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to it. We welcome your support, feedback, and suggestions, and we hope to see you at the next podcast. Fairval, creating value in travel and transportation.